What should people avoid while traveling to Europe? Don't rent a car if you're going to stay at a major capital, it's not worth it. It's much better to use public transport and get an occasional Uber. Carry your wallet in your front pocket, if carrying a bag or purse, towards the front. It's a comment for all tourist areas, Europe just has a lot of them. LOL, top of the list. Creepy dudes outside airports trying to split cabs. Face with tears of joy unless your dad's Liam Neeson. Avoid speaking without exchanging greetings first, in France at least, and not responding in kind when someone greets you. In other words, exchange bonjours before you ask where the toilet is. Avoid letting your kids act like monsters in public in restaurants, in particular. Avoid rushing through meals, unless your kids are acting like monsters. If you ever visit England and go to the lovely little town in Shropshire called Ludlow, you should avoid eye contact with Dennis, fucker will talk you to death. Avoid any restaurant that tries to strong-arm you into entering. Insinuating that Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland, and possibly some parts of Cornwall are in England doesn't go down too well. Don't think that what goes for one country goes for all. There is all sorts of differences in cultures, laws, etc. Avoid assuming Europe is all roughly the same. It's a continent, not a country. You don't go to Japan and expect it to be like Indonesia just because they are both in Asia. In other words, it all depends on which country in Europe you are traveling to. As an American who did this foolishly, American chain restaurants. You flew 5,000 miles across an ocean, don't waste your time eating American food you could have gotten in Ohio. Don't just try the local stuff, go out of your way to find small mom and pop restaurants that the actual residents prefer. The best meal of my entire life was in such a restaurant in Greece. I had rented a car with a friend who was visiting his grandparents and we were driving up north from Athens for hours. I kept trying to stop on the highway for some American or similar fast food. Pita Pan is legit decent fast food. We had pulled off onto a smaller road and for hours didn't see anything. We were so hungry we promised to pull over at the next restaurant we saw. When we finally saw one we pulled over immediately, only to find ourselves in someone's house. It literally looked like someone's driveway. Eventually I noticed a little Coke-branded refrigerator, filled with beers, and realized it really was a restaurant, kind of. Inside was literally some grandma's house, but the living room was full of small wooden tables, probably 4 to 5. We were the only ones in the entire place besides Grandpa, who was reading a newspaper and having a coffee. You could see into the rest of the house, which was literally just some old people's home. Grandma excitedly welcomed us and asked us what we wanted to drink. The food was whatever she cooked that day, you didn't have a choice. That day it was some kind of meat, either beef or beef plus goat, in red meat sauce with potatoes and some Greek salad and hearty bread. I guess if you didn't like what she was serving, you were out of luck, but it was utterly divine, best thing I've ever had. It was also like $7 for the whole thing. I figure she literally just cooks for herself and her husband and makes 2-3x as much on the chance that a few people stop by. I wish I had some idea where that place was, but I'd never find it in 100 years of traveling again. Uneasy face. I'd avoid social media and watching TV in the month before your trip and spend that time on Duolingo instead. Not sure where exactly you're going in Europe, but it'll help you to know a couple of phrases in the language. In major cities, don't let anyone hand you anything such as flowers or whatever. Once it is in your hands they start asking for money. They even gave a flower to one of my kids and then wouldn't take it back. Just set it on the ground and walk away. Petty theft and scams. Don't leave stuff lying in the seat next to you on public transport. Street scammers in Paris, anywhere really, I just mostly see it in Paris. Falling in canals and walking on bicycle paths if they come to the Netherlands. Should be obvious, but I'll say it anyway, Don't do the Hitler salute while in Germany. Not even as a joke, it's illegal. And, Holocaust denial is illegal in 18 European countries. Restaurants in touristy areas that have signs out front with pictures of the meals and the price featured prominently. I'd avoid Ukraine at the moment. Be respectful to memorial places. Don't come to the idea to make selfies or similar. Inform yourself about the traditions of the country. In some countries, you can openly make small talk with strangers, while in another one, you do have to approach them like a wild animal. If you're from the US, don't sign up for the bullshit $10 per day international service with Verizon or other service providers. Nearly any airport you arrive in will have a place where you can buy an SIM card to put in your phone at fraction of the price. For instance, I once got a SIM card in Seville, Spain for something like €12 and it came with a month of service and 9 GB of data. Edit, for using wrong name. Edit 2, apparently there are eSIM services you can get now that are even easier. I'm not familiar with them but probably worth looking into.